Tom Sawyer, Chapter 1. "Tom," hollered Aunt Polly. There was no answer. "Tom." Aunt Polly looked everywhere for her young nephew, Tom Sawyer. He wasn't in his bedroom. That meant he was probably up to no good. Tom was an orphan with a thirst for adventure. But sometimes his troublemaking was more than she could bear. Where on earth has that boy gone, I wonder? "Tom," she screamed. Aunt Polly peered over the glasses perched at the end of her nose. "If I get hold of you, Tom," she muttered. Aunt Polly poked a broom under the bed, but Tom wasn't there. Aunt Polly went to the porch door. She shouted out into the garden, "Tom?" A door creaked quietly behind Aunt Polly. She turned around just in time to catch Tom sneaking out of the closet. She grabbed the boy by the shirt collar. His hands and face were filthy, but he was grinning from ear to ear. "What were you doing in there?" she demanded. "Nothing," said Tom, suddenly sheepish. "Nothing? Look at your hands. Look at your mouth. What is this mess?" "I don't know," replied Tom. He tried to look innocent. "Well, I know," said his aunt. "It's jam." "I've told you 40 times to leave that jam alone. Now hand me that switch in the closet." Tom gave Aunt Polly the willow switch. He was in a pickle now. Aunt Polly lifted the switch above her head. She was just about to strike Tom on the rear when he cried, "Aunt Polly, look behind you. What's that?" The old lady whirled around. In a flash, Tom was out the door and scrambling over the fence. Aunt Polly shook her head and laughed. "That rascal, when will I learn? He's played that trick on me so many times I should know it by now." Aunt Polly worried about Tom. She wanted her nephew to grow up to be a good man. She worried that he skipped school too much. She knew he would skip school that very afternoon. "I'll have to punish him tomorrow," Aunt Polly decided. "I'll make him work." Tom hates work, but I've got to do the right by him. Saturday morning was a beautiful day, and all the world was out enjoying it. Everyone except poor Tom. Tom was on the sidewalk with a bucket of whitewash and a long-handled brush. He looked at the fence in front of him. It stretched 90 feet long and 9 feet high. Painting it would take forever. Tom dipped his brush into the bucket. He ran it over the first plank. After one stroke, he stopped and saw how much more there was left to do. He sat down on the curb and sighed. Tom thought of all the excitement he was missing. Soon the other boys would walk by. They would make fun of him. Suddenly, Tom saw Ben Rogers coming down the street. Tom picked up the brush and went back to work. He had a plan. Ben walked right up to Tom. He was eating an apple. Tom's mouth watered for the apple, but he kept painting. "You have to work?" teased Ben. "I'm going swimming. Don't you wish you could come?" Tom stepped back and looked at Ben thoughtfully. "What do you mean by work?" he asked. "What you're doing is work, isn't it?" replied Ben. Well, maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. All I know is it suits Tom Sawyer." Tom turned back to the fence and started whitewashing once more. "You mean you like what you're doing?" Tom kept painting. Why not? Does a boy get to whitewash a fence every day?" Ben watched Tom's brush go back and forth. The fence looked clean and white where Tom had painted it. Tom made whitewashing look easy. He made it look fun. "Tom, let me whitewash a little," asked Ben. But Tom wouldn't give up his brush. No, I don't think so, he said. Aunt Polly is real fussy about the street fence. If it were the back fence, maybe, but this fence needs a good eye. There's only one boy in 1,000, maybe 2,000 who can do this job right. Ben begged. Then he offered Tom his apple. Only 2 bites were gone from it. Tom sighed and handed Ben the brush. He took the apple and sat on a barrel in the shade. Ben painted and sweated in the sun. The plan worked. After Ben, Billy Fisher came along. Billy gave Tom a good kite for a turn at whitewashing. Then there was Johnny Miller. He gave Tom a dead rat tied to a string, and so on, hour after hour. By early afternoon, Tom had a pile of goodies at his feet, and the fence had 3 coats of whitewash on it. Tom told Aunt Polly that he had finished painting. May I go and play now? What? Already? Asked Aunt Polly. She couldn't believe it. She peered over her glasses. You can't be finished already. How much have you done? Oh, it's all done, Aunt. Come and see. Tom, don't lie to me, replied Aunt Polly. Tom grabbed Aunt Polly by the hand and took her to the freshly painted fence. The long, tall fence was white as snow. Aunt Polly was so pleased that she gave Tom a shiny apple. He thanked her, but when her back was turned, he nabbed a fresh-baked donut. Tom ran outside to play with his friends. There wasn't too much left of his Saturday.